To those of you who have recently subscribed here to this YouTube channel, the story of my life has become always wanting to be everybody's favorite character in the Descendants of Zombies franchises. And while I may be a long way away from that ever happening for me, I've always saw appreciation in the way that you could tell stories and bring them to life. And I think that's what's led everybody to choose this YouTube channel as their favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel for how I could tell these stories. I've loved not only telling stories, but I've loved having a chance to bring them to life and share stories about how much I loved Ruby Rose Turner and Clarke and who are always some of my favorite Descendants characters, who will forever and always be my favorite Descendants characters, for just how much they appreciated such things as their friendship and the value of time, because we never seem to know how much time we have. And I think that the friends that we make in our lives are friends that we should appreciate and spend more time with, because we never seem to know how much time we have. Because the thing about time is, time always runs out. But the thing that makes Descendants of Zombies such a beautiful franchise is how much these friendships that they've made with each other mean to them. How they're there for each other every step of the way. Because we see a lot of ourselves in the stories of Kylie and Ruby and Malia that they've shared over the years. That they've been a part of a franchise that once was a dream for them. They always wanted to be a part of this franchise, but I never imagined that I would have heard so many critical reviews that people would have posted online directed towards Kylie and Malia and Freya. And I always wanted to do something about that. So I took it upon myself one day when I was hanging out with my friends, and we all came up with this idea that we were going to launch a Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. Because I have a lot of people who help me behind the scenes bring this YouTube channel to life that you guys don't see. And this YouTube channel means so much to them. It means so much to me to be able to bring all this relatable content to life for all of you. Content that has forever resonated with all of you. Whoever you are, from whatever reasons that you have of finding these videos and clicking on my thumbnail, I just want to say thank you so much for the reasons that you've always had within your heart for being fans of Descendants of Zombies, which could come in the form of collecting Descendants of Zombies dolls, and all the merch that comes with being a Descendants of Zombies fan. Perhaps you have a favorite character that you love hearing stories about and predictions to be offered about as we make our way towards the future that will include Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, which will premiere this summer, which is going to be part of a huge summer for Disney because we not only have Descendants 5, but we also have Camp Rock 3 coming out in the same summer. And seeing Camp Rock being included in the Worlds Collide tour is such a huge honor for me because I always remember being a huge fan of Camp Rock's 1 and 2, and it's been years since we've seen a Camp Rock movie. And with all these new cast members mixing it up with the original cast members, with the exception of Allison Stoner, is something I'm really excited about. I've loved sharing with you my stories about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, but most of all, I've loved hearing yours. Because there are so many people who have left comments on this YouTube channel that have always touched my heart about how much they love these videos. And I want you guys to know that I will always do my best to say the nicest things that I possibly ever could about people like Kylie, Malia, and Freya, because I believe in their futures just as much as all of you did. I've honestly believed for years that if the Descendants of Zombies movies were to have opened up with Jonathan Clarke having fallen down through a rabbit hole, you guys would have been cool with that. Because, to be honest with you guys, I've always wanted to take myself up in the opportunity to have fallen down through a rabbit hole and meet characters such as Alice and characters like Cinderella. Because that would have been so cool, man. I would have loved to have the opportunity to have hang out with Kylie Cantrell and got to know her for the person that she was. I would have loved the chance to have collaborated with her because there was always something to appreciate about a young girl who always wanted to make a name for herself within the Disney company, which was very difficult to do years ago because Disney kind of, chose and picked their characters, and they were very selective on who they were choosing. But now we are experiencing the last of a generation, which makes this generation so much more appreciative by so many wonderful people, because Disney will never see stars like this ever again. Years ago, there would always be somebody to come in and replace somebody who was leaving the Disney company, like Bridget Mendler kind of did for people like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez. But now, these stars are very far and in between. And because we are experiencing a new generation that is the last of a generation and we will never see stars like this ever again, I think that's what makes these moments so appreciative by fans, is that we know that these stars are special and they are going to continue to offer something special with the time that remains for them to be a part of the Disney franchises. Because to be honest with you guys, I've never wanted to let go of Descendants of Zombies, and I've never wanted to have to say goodbye. So why should we ever have to say goodbye, or why should we ever have to let go? That is one of the most difficult things for everybody to have to do who may have been fans of this from the very beginning. Because I know I have fans who have been subscribed to this YouTube channel because they've been fans of Descendants and Zombies from the very beginning. You will never forget that night that Descendants premiered back on July 31st, 2015, and so will I. Because those characters that were first introduced to us, played by Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, characters such as Mal and Evie, were powerful introductions to VKs and AKs. They really defined what their villain parents wanted them to become, which was something far greater than they ever imagined possible. And I don't think that the stars who brought them to life ever imagined that their characters and the portrayals of them would go on to be so relatable to so many wonderful people, because many of whom saw heroes in these stars, from the opening dance number Rotten to the Core. I remember when Kylie Control watched this for the first time ever, and she thought this was so cool that she had a dream of wanting to be a part of it. On that night, she decided that she was going to do everything in her power to either become a part of Descendants or High School Musical, and she had the chance to become a part of both, which never really happens for a whole lot of people. You throw Ruby Rose Turner and Malia Baker into the mix, and you've got a beautiful franchise. I think that we've heard way too many comparisons between the original trilogy and the new trilogy, and I've chosen the new trilogy because these are stronger stars. And they are showing strength, and they're exemplifying power often enough, and it really convinces me that these stars have futures, and futures that I'm really excited to be a part of. And through those futures, we can offer more encouragement to push them ahead, so that they go on to define their legacies, just as the legacies of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson were defined through the original trilogy. I know the original trilogy may never be forgotten for its powerful music and its also very deep and very emotional stories, which pretty much began with one story. It was a story between Mal and Ben and how they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together because they found true love. But in Descendants, the first installment, there wasn't really a greater significance on the other characters such as Evie until Descendants 2 kind of happened and Descendants blew up. And Descendants went on, after the success of Descendants 2, Descendants went on to become everybody's favorite trilogy and achieve so much rarity in a world sometimes that is very difficult to achieve rarity within. From the moment I saw Descendants 2 and all the crossover opportunities by the W Network, Hallmark Channel, and Disney Channel, because there was a lot of cross-promotion happening in 2017, I knew Descendants had secured its legacy, and I knew it was going to be something special for us all to watch. And I think that that 5-year hiatus, within that 5-year hiatus, that Descendants kind of took a break and went away. Everybody hoped that Descendants was going to return. Either characters such as Mal and Evie were going to return to reprise their roles, or we were going to see a new cast with a new story. And that kind of what was being set up for in the Royal Wedding back in, I think it was 2021. It was so cool seeing how they set up for the new characters from Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella to finally be introduced into a franchise that we always hoped we would see these characters kind of find their way into. I've been kind of hoping that Aladdin and Jasmine were going to have a greater story emphasized within the Descendants franchise, and I'm still waiting on it. And I think there are a lot of people who feel the same way. I think that ever since we saw them in the Life is Sweet When You Are music video, we've been kind of hoping that Red and Chloe were going to go on that magic carpet ride or take an adventure under the sea with Ariel's daughter. I think there are so many endless possibilities. I know that there are a lot of people out there who have referred to this as a coming-of-age sci-fi kind of story, but I've referred to it as something much greater, because this is really a universe full of unpredictable moments, a universe full of so many dedicated fans who have always deserved better reviews about Descendants and Zombies, and I just wanted to be that guy to give it to you, because I saw power and strength within these characters. And most of all because of their friendships, because I think we saw a lot of ourselves in the stories that were told by Red and Chloe because of just how much their friendship would go on to mean to them. They may have never been the best of friends starting things off in Descendants, but they learned to value that. And they also had a greater appreciation for time, because you never know what the consequences of meddling with time travel could be. But we shall find out in Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland. We already know some of them. Red's created a sister which she'll have a bond with and a story to tell. And they've also created a villain. So because they've created a villain, that also creates a new story. And it presents us with a chance to experience even more unpredictable moments. I don't know who this villain is, but I'm quite intrigued to find out who he is, because I've always had this dream of being everybody's favorite action hero, and I think that you could make that happen if you were to give me 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers, because I've had this dream that I've told you often enough about wanting to surpass Mr. Beast and have 600 million subscribers subscribed to this YouTube channel. My greatest dream and greatest wish seems to have been for every fan of Descendants of Zombies to eventually subscribe here. I would love for that to happen, because this YouTube channel exploded with people subscribing to this YouTube channel overnight, having chosen this YouTube channel as their favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, and I can't even begin to describe what that feeling was like for me, I woke up one morning after having posted just one Descendants of Zombies video, and this YouTube channel exploded with so much love and support and warmth. And I will never forget any of you for what you did for me and this YouTube channel, because as I've already said, this never happens for a whole lot of creators. I think within every 40 million YouTube creators, there are about, 250,000 of us who make it big on YouTube, and I've always wanted to leave an everlasting impression and leave behind a legacy. And I think that I'm well on my way to doing that, because there are so many people who love the way I could tell these stories. I can't even tell you how many times I reread the stories of Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella, and I've loved every single moment that I had the chance to read these stories with my family, my mom and my grandmother, and have the chance to retell my own version of the story and how I felt about it and how they made me feel to all of you. Because it's helped keep these franchises alive for people who may have had a favorite song or a favorite character that they saw something special in and always took something special away from. No matter who your favorite character is, I want you to know that it's kind of cool that you love that character so much and you see a hero within their heart. Because in every character there's a heart that defines their legacy, and a legacy that they're going to leave behind because of what they offered to the Descendants of Zombies. Every character found within this franchise and seen from within it offered something special for us to take away from. And I think that for those of us who have always held a very special place in our hearts for Descendants of Zombies, there's never been anything wrong with letting the world know how you truly feel about it. Now, I know there are people out there who have taken exception to the Descendants of Zombies franchises, who often review it for the first time ever for the sole purpose of recording a reaction video, and I'm cool with that, but I think we can devote more of our time to saying something nice about people who actually wear Mickey Mouse hoodies or fill their room up with stuffies. Does it remind you of someone? You're looking at them right here. And I've had no regrets, and I haven't looked back since. Because the one niche that's always been the one thing that's been constant in my life has been all of you. Because of how supportive you've been of one guy who started with just 5 subscribers. I believe at one point or another I had no subscribers. I started with 5, I think, by the time I started looking at my subscriber count. And gradually, day by day, time after time that I would post videos, I kept at it, and people would subscribe here. And I can't even begin to tell you how much that meant to me, because you saw something special in this loser, who pretty much played video games for his entire life, virtually has every PS5 and PS4 video game that you could ever think of, and you made him into a superstar because you saw something special in his heart. Because you knew that when he said that he loved Kylie Control so much, he was serious. And he would do anything to keep her legacy alive or to ensure that she had one. Because when people like Kylie see people like Miley Cyrus always being honored, for sure they have a lot of respect for them. But you as a fan have just as much respect for Kylie and think to yourself, that could be Kylie Control standing on that stage on this very night, getting that same honor or something greater. And I've always wanted to secure the legacies of your favorite stars, and I want you to know that I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that these honors that have happened for Miley and Ashley will happen for people like Kylie and Malia and Ruby, because they've always held a very special place in my heart. You guys will get what you want, and their legacies will live on eternally, such legacies as Cameron Boyce, who we've never ever forgotten, because I will always honor them. I will always go out of my way to make sure there's something new posted here for you guys, because you've always deserved better when it comes to these reviews of Descendants of Zombies, which oftentimes have been far from what you expected and anything but, special. So I think that what we can do as content creators is really take the time to understand you for who you are, and the content that you've appreciated and what you love talked about and what you want to hear. Because I can come on here and I can talk about, let's say for argument's sake, a movie that I may have watched 2 nights ago. But who's to say that movie resonates with the person watching the video? You're obviously here because you love Descendants of Zombies. You saw something special in the over 1,000 videos that I've created. So I'm going to keep on creating, because there are 10.5 million people who love Descendants of Zombies on social media who watch these videos every night, who probably think Jonathan Clarke is the nicest, the most kind, and most appreciative guy ever to create videos about Descendants of Zombies for not only the stars, but because of all of you. Because I know that I would not be here tonight. None of my friends who helped me create this YouTube channel and helped me with the set would never be here because of just us. We're here because of you and how we resonate with all of you, and because you see something special in us. So this YouTube channel was never created because I wanted to become famous. This YouTube channel was created because of you, and this YouTube channel has always been here because of its relatable content and the way that I can tell a story. I know that there are a lot of people out there that probably have, oh, I don't know, 25, 30, 50,000 subscribers for whatever niche they're attracting. But I think that out of any niche that I could ever provide commentary for, this is by far the most supportive niche, consisting of the most die-hard fans that I have ever witnessed in my life. And I have a far greater appreciation for all of you than I do anything else out there. Because I could talk about pro wrestling, I could talk about professional sports, I could talk about pop culture, anything pop culture related. But if there was one thing that I could always talk about and always come back to, it would be Descendants of Zombies. Because this niche has the most unbelievable diverse fan community that I have ever experienced in my life. And I want you to know from my heart to yours, thank you for being who you are. Thank you for always showing up. And thank you for having made this an incredible experience, one that I know that I will never ever forget any of you because of. For whatever reason that you found this video or you've clicked on my thumbnail, just know I appreciate you, and I've always believed that you deserve better, and you will continue to see better reviews of your favorite stars to help make them stronger, to give them more confidence in their abilities than ever before, so they can keep on pushing forward and give us even more to believe in. Because the way I see Kylie's future and Ruby Rose Turner's future setting up is something far more beautiful than we ever realized. Kylie's got a brand new deal with Republic Records, which she's really excited about. A brand new animated feature coming to theaters sometime in 2027. I think it's going to happen in spring of 2027. It's called Zach Power. We've got Ruby Rose Turner involved with a lot of projects. And we've also got Freya Sky making waves everywhere she goes. As far as I'm concerned, if anyone's got the Midas touch out there, everything that Freya Sky touches turns to gold. And I find time in appreciating that. Not only just because everything she touches turns to gold, it's because of how much she appreciates you. Because you may not know this, but you are what's always mattered. To us as content creators, you are what makes video creation for us so special. You are what makes Descendants of Zombies special. And I may be the only guy who's ever created the Descendants of Zombies video who ever realizes that. Who can sit in front of his camera and be so open-minded and open-hearted with all of you. Because I see the value and the appreciation that comes from creating content about this franchise. Because it not only gives you a chance to talk about who your favorite character may be, because I've had a lot of them. Dove Cameron, Ruby Rose Turner, Malia Baker. God knows I love Kylie Control with all of my heart, because I always saw something special in every friendship she ever had, and I found time in supporting that. It's one thing to talk about Descendants of Zombies, but when you can resonate with people through talking about it, that's what makes this so special. And I will never forget any of you for how much you meant to my heart and how much you meant for this YouTube channel, pushing it forward to becoming everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, because I know that whoever we talk about in terms of content creation, they would not be here if not for your love and support, and how much you've supported the niche that you've kind of fallen into. Descendants of Zombies may have just happened for us out of nowhere, but it's brought us that much closer together. And it's gave us something special to believe in and so much to look forward to, especially in 2026 and 2027 and beyond. Because we have Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, Leg 2 of Freya Sky Stars Align Tour, Kylie Control having signed a deal with Republic Records. There is so much going on. There's talk about Descendants and Zombies characters finding their way into Fortnite. I've already got my copy of Fortnite downloaded and I'm ready to go. Spend about $500 on Descendants of Zombies characters, play as Freya Sky. Her song Silent Treatment is a part of the soundtrack of Fortnite now. And I'm really excited about that. I'll have more to say on that in upcoming video blogs. So make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, do all that fun stuff. Because to be honest with you guys, I would love for you to be a part of these conversations. So many countless conversations I've had over the years and look forward to continuing to having with all of you. Because as I just said, you are what makes Descendants of Zombies special. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for believing in happily ever after, for taking a chance on a dream that you may have had. Thank you so much for making Descendants of Zombies not only just special for you, but for me also. To have been your voice of Descendants of Zombies for this long became the greatest honor of my life and the most fun, from what I can tell you, from my perspective, the most fun that I've ever had. Thank you so much for always showing up and always being you, because there's only forever and always only ever going to be one you, And we really have to make these moments count, and there's no better way to make these moments count than by experiencing them and sharing in them together, which the power of YouTube has allowed us all to become a part of. Dedicated fans of Descendants of Zombies do exist out there, and they will love you with all of their heart because of how you create these videos and how you can tell these stories. We will pick up this conversation from where we left it off bright and early tomorrow morning between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. And I look forward to that conversation with all of you, as I have all the conversations we previously had and so many more yet to come, as we make our way into an unpredictable future, but one that's really to be excited about, that I can't wait to be a part of and share in with all of you. Thank you so much for holding a very special place in your heart for Descendants of Zombies, and as always, thank you so much for having watched these videos.